Tabata has just answered the biggest question I've had since the end of chapter 336. How did Asta end up in the Land of Sun? And the answer is, well, Sister Lily. Which is admittedly such an obvious answer, and I know that most of you had already figured this out much sooner than I did, but I was just so convinced that Ryu had some hand in Asta surviving his almost certain death that I completely ignored it. And that's the issue that comes with believing so heavily into a theory. It can blind you into ignoring the facts. Now that being said, there is still the possibility that our new favorite shogun did play a hand in Asta being sent to the Land of the Sun, because while he may not have any Yoryoku, his mysterious all-seeing eye could have some hidden abilities that we're not yet aware of, like say giving the good paladin a mental image of the beach that Asta just happened to wash up on. And the reason why I think that might be the case is because it was stated before by Finral that spatial magic requires the user to see or have been to the place they're teleporting to. Because if they've been there, they could rely on a mental image of the location to accurately travel to it. And unless it's revealed in the next chapter that Sister Lily at some point in her 27 years of life had traveled to the Land of Sun, there's no way she could have been able to choose that location for Asta to end up at. So it is likely that Ryu, being the master planner that he is, I would argue almost as good as Lucius himself, knowing that Asta would be the key to saving humanity from Lucius, and that Sister Lily would teleport him away instead of trying to kill him, manipulated her into sending him to the Land of Sun, so that him and the Reason 7 could train Asta in how to use Zetten in order for him to become strong enough to defeat Lucius. Now, I don't want to put too many eggs into this theory basket, so here are two possible counters to this idea. Counter number 1, it could be that when Lucius made Lily into a paladin, a mental link was created between the two of them, and she was able to get a mental image of the Land of Sun from that mental link. And counter B, there's also the very strong possibility that when Lily decided to teleport Asta away, she did it without any actual thought about where to send him, just that he needed to go somewhere far, far away, and that it was just by pure luck that he ended up in the perfect place for him to train. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if my theory is correct or if counters 1 or B are correct instead, because at the very end of the day, either way, him being saved from death was entirely thanks to Sister Lily, who reveals to us in this chapter during her fight with our favorite anti-magic gremlin, through her words and actions, that Lucius's control over her isn't exactly perfect. We already knew that an aspect of soul manipulation magic involved manipulating people's minds. That's why Julius was unaware that he was sharing a body with Lucius this entire time, because Lucius had erased all of his memories of him. And it's because of this very mind manipulation that he was able to turn Sister Lily against Asta in chapters 334 and 335, but it didn't give him complete control over her. No, all it did was implant the very strong idea in her mind that Lucius is right, that Lucius-sama is the key to humanity's salvation. But at her core, she's still the very same Sister Lily, someone who does not enjoy hurting others, especially not those she cares about, which is why even though she truly did intend to kill Asta, subconsciously she just couldn't do it. And even now, having to once again try and kill the boy that she helped raise is bringing her immense agony. And I, coming close for this one, I absolutely love all of this. This right here is exactly how I wanted a battle between these two to go down. But even though I really did enjoy it, this chapter left me and most of the fandom kinda split. Because at the end of this chapter, we see Asta hit Sister Lily with his Zen, just like he did Yoro, the Beast Paladin, just like he did the Beast Paladin in the last chapter, meaning this should return her back to normal. And that is where the controversy is coming from for this chapter, because now there are 3 factions amongst the fans about what they want the ultimate result to be from this. Faction A wants Sister Lily returned back to normal as a nice little book closing moment on this first mini arc of the final saga. Faction 2 wants Asta's attack to fail in turning her back to normal and have her escape in order for the two of them to fight once again closer to the end of the saga. And then there's Faction Weird, who for some strange reason wants Asta's attack to have killed Sister Lily in order to teach him some kind of lesson or something, I don't know. That faction doesn't make much sense to me. Now, me personally, I'm stuck between the first two ideas, because on the one hand, I really love this chapter, and I don't see how we could possibly get a much more emotionally driven fight between the two later on. But on the other hand, I do kind of feel like this fight happened way too soon, and that we should have saved it for later towards the end of the saga. So as of right now, I honestly don't know what I want to happen in the next chapter. I'm just going to put my faith in Tabata and wait to see what he chooses to do. And while we're waiting, let's talk about Heath, because even though we were all pretty sure that this paladin right here was Heath Christ, the first villain that Asta defeated after joining the Black Bulls, we never had official confirmation. Not until this chapter. Because in the chapter, we actually get to see him having a mini flashback to his defeat at the hands of Asta, Noelle, and Magna all the way back in chapter 9. It's really nice of Tabata to finally give us official confirmation on this one, especially since it looks like he's probably going to end up dying in the very next chapter. Because we do see that Yosuke is actually planning to take him on in a 1v1 fight, which I see being a very one-sided battle, with his only advantage being his healing abilities now that he's a paladin. But even with his Deadpool-like healing, I'm really going to enjoy seeing Yosuke beat down this D-rank villain. And once he's taken out, that will be 2, maybe 3 paladins that Lucius would have lost, all in the span of one single day. And I don't know about all of you, but I'm really looking forward to seeing his reaction to not only this, but the news that Asta is back, and that he is stronger than ever.